Hey, what's up everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ramp Studio Comics. Welcome back. So today's live stream, we're going to be drawing some fight scenes. So I've had this request, multiple times. This is always a thing that everybody likes to get into and draw. It's really important for comics, obviously. So let's get to drawing some fight scenes, shall we? You guys can kind of chime in and let me know what exactly you face, when doing this, what makes it hard for you, whatever. This is one thing that I like to do is first set up a frame, and lately I've been doing a lot more of drawing an immediate perspective. So I'll show you, like, say I do a low horizon line, something like this, and then I do some immediate rough perspective lines. And I think this can be important for fight scenes as well as any scene really, but you want to get like that immediate feeling of perspective in there right off the start. So what's up? Glad we already got a few people here. Happy to have you aboard. And so when you're doing these fight scenes, you obviously got just tons and tons of ways that you could really construct them. But I think with first establishing that perspective, it helps a little bit. And then you want to immediately just jump in there and make the first mark. That's always the toughest part about creating this stuff, is just get in there and start making your scribbles and then work on them as you go. So it's really important that you just don't hinder yourself by thinking too much about kind of defeating yourself before you get started. You just want to get in there, make a mark, and then learn from that mark and then adjust it and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll have one character kind of overextending themselves and throwing a punch. I'm just using some really ugly basic shapes to get the ball rolling here. And one arm tucked back. Again, just very ugly, rough sketches in there. Get the torso in there. Have him kind of twisting, and maybe this leg kind of coming up, and the other leg back. And then I notice that I want the head to be more forward, so I'll quickly adjust that, erase the old one. And this arm looks too high up and almost broken, so we'll go ahead and lower this. Let's do a soft erase and clean this up a little bit. Okay, so when doing these scenes like this, I think the trickiest part is to get a nice balance from, protagonist to antagonist to protagonist, or whatever, the two interacting on the scene. So essentially, we've got this character throwing a punch in the air, nobody's there yet, but it's making it to where not only this character looks cool and dynamic or whatever, it's also making it look like they're really interacting and there's really some some force and impact going on there. So let's actually, this leg would probably be more towards camera, so let's adjust that. And that leg actually looks too far forward. Twist it. So I'm constantly moving things around, especially when it's something like this where I don't feel like it looks, oops, get rid of my selection there. I don't feel like it looks good enough yet. So I'm constantly just moving this stuff around, using these basic shapes to kind of find placement. And I'll fight the sketch for so long, and if it just isn't gelling right, then I'll do a redraw. Just because, sometimes it's just that it's not something that you want to spend too much time trying to save when you can maybe redraw it and kind of get it on that first try. And the bicep would actually be lower from this angle. Tricep would be up here from this kind of weird punch that he's doing. Okay, I'm going to read through some of these comments real quick. Audio balance is way off. I can tell you're talking, but can't clearly understand you. Anybody else having trouble with the audio? Yeah, somebody else says I can't hardly hear you. All right, let me try to move over closer to the mic. or turn the gain up. Let me try this. Is that any better? I got nope, yes, nope, nope, sounds great, nope. All right, sounds good. Okay, let's try that. So anyways, all right, so this particular shot is just pretty bad, you know, but we always got to start off with a bad sketch. So so now what I'm going to try to do is fix this. Now the arm, I'm just going to do a redraw because it just looks really bad. So let's just get that out of there. I think the twist is even off, but you know, we'll start with this, soft erase it back a bit and see if I can fix that. So I wanted to look that he really had the arm up, so it's like this high overcross shot or something. And let's try to bring it out towards camera a little bit more. So instead of it going straight out here, I'm going to try to bring it towards camera a bit further this way. So to do that, I'm going to overlap the shapes more. I'm going to overlap the forearm more, like this. I'm going to bring the wrist opening to here. So this is me trying to foreshorten it just a little bit more. And then bring the fist out this way. So for the fist, just a block and that little circle for the thumb. I'm still just trying to work through the scene and see if this will look any better. So the knee up here. And likewise, I'm going to point the face a little bit more this way now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the audio there. I haven't changed anything from the settings that I would normally use to record on a daily basis, so I really don't get the whole issue with the audio in that regard. Unless, the only thing I can figure is unless there's a setting in the live stream, but I wouldn't picture there would be anything in there that would dull down the audio. Are you guys still having a hard time hearing me? Somebody said much better now, so I don't know. Okay, so now let's do the person getting punched here. So we'll start with the head. Point the head this way like they've already got hit, and then kind of the falling motion. So we can either have them falling back like this, which probably makes a little more sense, or a lot of times you'll see something where it's like trying to be overly dynamic, I think, and they'll have the body kind of pointing back this way, which, you know, probably looks a little bit less accurate, I would say, but it seems to be a little bit more what you see in a comic or something, where they try to reverse it and the body's kind of leaning over itself. There's a leg up here, a leg back here, something weird like that. But let's go back to the first one. I think it looks a little bit more accurate. So let's have it where the character's getting hit. From this angle, the head's going to appear to be closer to the shoulder, like right here. And a good way to kind of convey depth from an angle like this is to hide a lot of the midsection or the lower part of the body like that. Just have a leg kind of popping out over here, one back this way. And let's just have one arm here. One arm here. And again, I'm just going to start with a really bad sketch just to kind of place everything and see if I can make this work or if I need to rethink the pose. And then generally from a character getting hit, you're probably going to want to do a little bit more of an open or a clenched hand. You know, so generally the one doing the punching is going to have the closed fist, and that kind of look like they're, you know, ready to fight and ready to do battle. And the other one getting hit is going to look like more of a reactionary stage, and their clenched hands are going to kind of express the maybe the pain or something, or so that's the way I would perceive it. something like that. Then obviously the expressions on the face, so you know, maybe this guy's with open mouth, squinted eyes. You know, and this, again, this is all really rough and really crude, obviously, but I try to get some of that information in there, even early on, even as I'm scribbling, just to get a feel for everything. And I think that if you can do more and more of this, this quick thumbnailing, even in the rough stage, and it can be wrong, you know, you can see I've got the mouth way too up high, there's no room for a nose there. All that, it's okay. It's okay to like get some of that information in there incorrectly, get a feel for it, you know, especially digital, you can move it all around, but it allows you to kind of feel the process out and go, okay, is this going to work? And the more you can do in this really rough, kind of ugly stage of your drawing, the better, because you don't spend so much time refining something that's not going to work. So I've talked about that a lot in, you know, the channel and various videos here. Okay, so let's go ahead and soft erase this back and try to fix it. So you see it's pretty crude, and it's almost to the point where it's like, I don't even know if I could make a good drawing out of that. But, you know, this is just to kind of place everything and get the concept down. So now I can go back a little bit more and try to refine it, try to adjust proportions. Think about the way the arm would bend right here, if it would even work from this angle. Because I'll do that a lot too, where I'll draw something in and I think it looks good in the rough stage, but then as I go to refine it, I'll realize that the anatomy won't work that way, or it won't position correctly, excuse me. So I'll just have to, you know, take it back a step. So if you stage the work properly, you can kind of do that. You can go, you know, everybody always says, oh man, I can't even draw a stick figure. And it's really the kind of the first stage of what you do here. You start with a stick figure, then you add in some larger shapes, then you add in refinement or shapes of shadows. And by staging your work like that, you do a couple things. One, you make it really easy to gauge how much you can produce in a day. You also head off any large time-consuming mistakes because you're used to staging your work, so you catch the mistakes in stages essentially, and yeah, you can generally figure out where you can fix things in that process a little bit easier, I think. So shoulder would be hidden a bit more from this angle. The arm wouldn't be nearly up so high. We'll bring that down, something like that. Bring it out this way. And let me check the comments just to make sure. Hello, artist. Okay, so everybody's good. Nobody's got any questions or anything like that, so let me know if you do. So I want to bring this face down a bit. I want to be looking a little bit more down towards the ground. So I'll just move the proportions down. Actually, the hand, I think, looks pretty boring like this. Let's go ahead and bring the hand up and clench the fingers out this way. So I'm just going to rough this in real quick. God, I'm sketching really ugly today. Gotta love it. Oh well, I'll show you that you can still save an ugly sketch. Will be the idea of this. Okay, so I get to the hand and I want to draw the same hand pose over and over again. And this is where, when I start to do this, I hold up a hand in the mirror. And what's pretty funny about doing this, I've noticed that if I hold up, I'm left-handed, so I got my left hand on the drawing tablet or whatever. If I hold up my right hand in the mirror, it'll give me the opposite hand, I shouldn't even say that, the right hand that I'm trying to draw. How do I explain that? Goodness, I'm getting turned around here. So essentially, if I'm trying to do this hand here, I would use my left hand. Goodness. Yeah, so that becomes trickier. I had to like take the pen out of my hand and hold my hand up to see. That's pretty bad. Anyways, the purpose though is if you have that mirror by your art table, you can start getting these hand poses a lot quicker. You can start studying that, and you get better and better at looking in the mirror and redrawing your own hand. So I've been doing that more and more lately. Just so you're not so much in the habit of drawing the same hand poses over and over again, and so that you don't feel like you always got to go to Google and Google this and search for that, because it can actually get extremely time consuming. A mirror is actually a lot quicker. And the other one that I'll do if I absolutely can't get my hand pose right or whatever, get the shot right that I'm looking for, I'll do like a shot off the laptop camera. So that one's pretty effective as well. Yeah, good idea. Flip the canvas, draw the other hand. I know it, duh. Another beauty of the digital world that I'm not taking advantage of. You just simply flip the canvas. I'm over here trying to draw with my opposite hand. Like I think I'm Leonardo da Vinci or something. Which I know I'm not. Could be related though. Just saying. Wow, this is an ugly sketch. Alright, so let's go ahead and soft erase it again and try to refine it. See if it's even worth saving. Okay, so now I've got my ugly sketch in place, and I've got a little bit of a fight scene going on here. Let's go ahead and bump this up. You know, we could tilt it and try to add drama, things like that. We can try to get parts of it kind of clipped out of the edge of the frame or whatever. Sometimes that'll help add to the depth. Like for instance, if we're really trying to push the perspective that this guy is coming out towards camera, we can increase him. We could bring him out towards the edge of the panel border. We can turn him a bit, you know, things like that. It would probably make a lot more sense to do a lot more overlap shapes the more he comes out towards camera. So we could do like the head, like right here. We could bring this arm further out, show more of the overlap here. Bring the chest over to here. Yeah, so at any rate, if the more we can try to hide some of the other parts, like the pelvic back here, and put that into shadow, then the more we can try to bring out the upper torso and make it look like it's coming out towards camera a bit more. So we could have the hand get larger, come out this way. Give him some gnarly expression. I feel like there's just too much weirdness with this arm being way up here like this. Let me try to change that because it just looks too, I don't know, too clunky, too weird. Let's bring this leg back this way and down. This one can come out a little bit because it almost makes it look more like he's trying to catch himself from the impact. But this one I think should be almost receding back into the space a bit more like this. And if I increase the size of the arm, I can make that look like it's coming out towards camera a little bit more. We could always do the cheap little effect where we have the hand actually coming out of the panel like that. That's like cheating, but oh well, we can do it. Yeah, and this shoulder is just whacked out of perspective there. This is always a tricky one for me, and this is where, just so you know, like when I get to a point like this and I'm like struggling with the pose, getting it right, and placement, this is where I would go to take a picture if I had to. You know, there's no shame in that. So it just saves a lot of time. It helps you kind of see, oh, the chest wouldn't sit here, it would sit there, or whatever. So just be aware of that, that's kind of the easy fix to what I'm dealing with right there. And it's always these ones where something's overlapped or coming out towards camera, or, you know, those are always the tricky ones. So let's try bringing the arm back this way and then placing the forearm here. Let's try that. I'll do the clenched hand again, like this. Shadow lines right there to show that's going back. Okay. This looks horrible. Gotta love live streaming, man. You guys get to see me make mistakes live. Okay, so let's go on to this character over here real quick. And see if we can make this one look a little bit better, hopefully. So yeah, so the other neat thing about segmenting at this stage, like you don't want your characters to look too overly segmented, I think, but the beauty of segmenting the muscle groups and the arms, like upper arm, shoulder, lower arm, is it becomes easier to place it and then do the overlaps. And then you can go back and soft erase and clean it up and take away some of these segments, but the segments definitely make it a lot easier to kind of piece together your character. So I'll do the solar plexus one piece, the stomach muscles, a couple pieces like this, sides, a couple pieces like this, and just kind of piece them all together. Alright, so here, let's get his arm right out of the way. Yeah, it's not just you. We all struggle with this type of stuff, and some days are definitely better than others. And it's funny, the YouTube channel kind of keeps me accountable because I don't want to go too long without producing content for you guys, you know, and keeping everything going in a forward momentum. So I can't just create on the days that I'm drawing well or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of the real deal anyways, because when you work professionally, you can't tell a client or somebody, I can't draw today. Can you get a hold of me next week? I draw really good on Wednesdays. Can you get a hold of me on Wednesday? You know, you just got to bear through it, and you'll get it though. I mean, it's like I kind of should have warmed up a little bit more before I got into this. It's so funny how even for drawing comics, you have to warm up. You'd think that wouldn't really be something you need to warm up for. It's not like, you know, playing basketball and needing to stretch or something. Oh, let me read a couple of these real quick. Yeah. So I haven't been able to live stream every Wednesday, unfortunately, like I hoped for, and I'm hoping to get back on that. But I am on a big project that is almost done. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So once that's done, I'll be able to announce it to you guys, which would be great, and I'll be able to get back to my schedule and all that jazz. But yeah, that's why you didn't see me last Wednesday. It's, you know, sometimes I get a little bit behind on what I'm trying to produce for this book, and I have to bear down and get focused with that. It's also why you guys see a lot more of the time-lapse videos that I'll pull off on my iPad and things like that, because it allows me to kind of keep, you know, I don't have to edit and record and do all these other things that go into the YouTube channel, where I can just dub something right from my iPad and upload it. So I know I got a few people that kind of complained about that. We're like, oh, you know, we don't want to see just a speed drawing, want it explained. But it's just, you know, basically there's it's only so many hours in the day type of deal, and I gotta get that project done first, and then if there's time left over, then I can dedicate here. So, okay, and then somebody said you should make the guy on the left's leg pop out of the scene too. Yeah, we could do that. So the only bad thing there, just so I say it, you know, we're just experimenting and having fun, so we can do whatever we want. But you just don't want to get in the habit of doing that too much. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people will want to do this because it looks cool. It's an easy way to convey depth. But the only bad thing is, like, I've always hear from like professionals that, you know, are trying to get into Marvel and DC or have worked for Marvel and DC and things like that. I guess they frown upon that in your portfolio when you're new. So if you're a new guy trying to get recognized and into that stuff or whatever, just be aware that you want to actually stay away from breaking out of the panels too much. And I don't know if they're still like that. This might be old information, but I've definitely heard more than one professional comic illustrator mention that. So I just figured I would share that with you, because I know a lot of people that watch this channel are aspiring comic artists. You know, me, I don't particularly care if I work in the big industries. I wouldn't say no to the opportunity, but I also don't, you know, really focus on that as far as my what I consider success and that kind of thing. But, and look at that, a funky little bend there. I don't know where to put that, and that's again where I would have to probably go to reference. Man, I'm in need of reference today. We'll have the one leg back. We'll just put that in shadow. It's like the easy way to make it look like it's way back here. Put a quick shadow on it. Alright, so I guess we can give him a face, huh? Face. Let's see, George saying, hey Rob, you've published your issue of Blackstone Eternal. Book 1 of Blackstone Eternal is on my Gumroad as a PDF, and then you can get a print-on-demand copy at Indie Planet. There's a lot of those links in my my YouTube channel, things like that, but I'll make sure to include links in the description box below. I think there's already one to Gumroad. But yeah, I appreciate you asking about that. So yeah, and book 2 of Blackstone, well actually, as soon as I finish up the book that I'm doing, I'm jumping right back on the comic and putting that on the front burner again, because I'm pretty much about 75% of the way done with book 2, but I had to take on some commercial gigs and, you know, make the ends meet kind of thing. But I'm getting right back onto Blackstone. I just I don't know, lately I've been feeling I don't know, a calling, or I don't know if I want to call it a calling, but feeling compelled to wrap up that second book, you know, and I've got ideas for book 3 and all that, so it's like, you know, got to get book 2 out of the way. But I appreciate you asking about that. Let's see. If you ain't Rockefort, don't go outside the panel. Yeah, good call, Nova. I mean, it is. You really got to get like your name established, they say, before you start busting out the panels and all that. At least that's what I've heard a couple times. Yep, Jeffrey kind of reconfirms that. How to Draw the Marvel Way talks about not breaking out the panels. No, I'm not sketching on the iPad Pro. This is Sketchbook Pro. It's funny they all got to get Pro in there. This is Sketchbook Pro, and it's me doodling away on the Cintiq. So, all right, so we can have the cheesy impact lines like this. There you go. You know, do the letters. That's how I do my letters. How do you spell thwap? Anybody out there know how to spell thwap? Oh, I forgot the H. All right, it's twap. I thought I saw a putty cat. All right. See, we'll have that go outside of the panel border too, since none of you guys can seem to stay within your confinements, and you all want to break the rules. Go ahead and have that go outside of the panel border too. There you go. So all the rules have been broken. Let's give this guy a mask. Whenever you don't want to draw hair, you can just draw a little mask type thing. An open face mask, which makes like no sense. Like what's the purpose of that? Just to keep the hair out of his eyes, apparently. Oh, another quick tip for you is always draw characters with gloves and like boots or whatever, because it makes it a lot easier to get the perspective drawn in there. See that? Just draw that little glove kind of marking. All of a sudden the hand looks a lot more dimensional, perspective like. Same thing with the legs. A quick cheat there for you. Okay, so let's see. Should we do another perspective? This one was pretty weak. So, what do you guys want to do? Try another angle here, another shot. Let's try bringing the perspective lines. Let me read this one real quick. I have a barber chasing them back in, wanting his cash for their haircuts. Nice. Usually use Sketchbook Pro to sketch and then transfer your drawings over to Clip Studio, because I've heard other artists talking about doing that. Or do you prefer to stick with the same program? No, I'm guilty of that as well. I actually prefer sketching in Sketchbook Pro a little bit. It just feels very, very fluid. It's very responsive. I'm not saying that Clip Studio isn't, because it's still an amazing program, and I still do a lot of sketching and a lot of drawing in Clip Studio, but there's just a certain amount of a fluid feel that I get when I draw inside this program. So that's why you see me going to it. And also for live streams, it makes a little bit more sense because of the way the interface is laid out. But they're both fantastic. I predominantly use Clip Studio for the majority of my work. But you're right, I do a little bit of sketching and drawing inside of here, bring it over to Clip Studio. It seems to be the best work that I'll get out. Another one is drawing in Procreate on the iPad. I prefer to sketch in there now and then bring it over. So it's funny, I still feel that Clip Studio and Mega Studio is best for my finished work, but drawing is a little bit better, or sketching I should say, is a little bit better in Sketchbook Pro and Procreate. Do a high angle fight downward punch. Sketchbook Pro interface frees your mind. Yeah, it's less to worry about. Because Clip Studio does so much, and there's so much there for book creation and perspective and all these things, but this one's just a little bit more geared to just the drawing process, so it's a little bit less to worry about. So somebody said they wanted to see a downward punch. Let me try it like this. I kind of already got this perspective going, but it's fine. I'll do this one where maybe this character is already in a higher vantage point like this, and they're punching downward. So we'll have the fist going straight down. We'll start with the stickman. Shoulder over here, fist here. So I'll try to get this in with as little information as possible. Openings for the leg, there's a knee, one leg up. So there's that downward punch, there's a fist pointing down, something like that. And let's do this the right way, or hopefully the right way. It's like, now we'll draw in this character getting punched, and we'll do like I said before, where I kind of picture this more being the popular way to draw somebody getting punched in a comic, where you almost see their head dragging the rest of their body kind of thing. So you'll see like, excuse me, their shoulders back here, which is kind of unrealistic, but we'll try it. You know, one leg up here, one leg off camera, one arm back here, and then, you know, the clenched hand or whatever, maybe a fist back here, and then this arm back here, and then receding away from view right there. So let's move this over to the middle the screen. We could tilt it, play around with it. And then let's drop the opacity and draw over top of this. Alright, so how do we do this? Let's get in, let's block in the larger shapes now. These are basic primitive shapes to kind of place everything. Stomach muscles. Gotta give him an 8-pack. The only 8-packs I'll be seeing anymore are the ones that say Coca-Cola on them. Sad but true. Maybe Budweiser. Okay, so the hips, the connection to the legs here, one leg up. You know, pretty ridiculous that the one leg would be up this high, but it's, you know, it's comics, so it makes sense. That. I always struggle with this part as well, so again, this is where if I start to not be able to get it right, I'll go to pulling some reference, because the way the leg bends and connects here, you know, you get this one muscle that sits on the knee right there, and then it kind of curls this way, comes up, connects somewhere in here, but it's the part where it comes down right here and connects to the bottom of the leg always gets tricky. So I'll just scribble this in for now, but it's more than likely going to be pretty inaccurate. Get the shape of the foot in there. Oh, any questions, you guys? I get kind of caught up in sketching here, so let me look back and see if you guys are saying anything. Or show a powerful enemy. Sorry, powerful enemy or angry hero. Got it. All right, and then this leg, like this. So what I'll do here, I'll show that one muscle here. Something like that. Holy moly, portions are way out of whack there. Actually, I think the head is too low. Let's bring it over here. And I want to say from that angle, the chin would be pointing to the shoulder. But I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Who's my favorite Marvel superhero? Huh. You know, if I had to pick a favorite for Marvel, it'd be Spidey. Yeah, definitely Spider-Man. Spider-Man's been my favorite hero for as long as I can remember. I don't know why. I know it's so typical, I guess, you know, but I really do think he's got all the greatest components of a hero character. So it's you know, he's not too overly powerful where it's ridiculous and it's like, he just beats everybody because he's so overly powerful. But he's also not just somebody that just has a bunch of cool gadgets. Like, you know, I know a lot of people are big Batman fans because of that. Like, his superpower is money. You know, he's just got tons of money, so he can like buy all these amazing gadgets. And he's a detective. He can figure stuff out. You know, but I've never been as enthralled by superheroes like that, like Iron Man, Batman. They're great. They're great characters. But as far as favorites, I would lean more towards, you know, Spidey and I don't know past him. I mean, it's definitely my favorite character. Blackstone? Blackstone's my favorite. Yeah, and Captain America equally as cool in the sense. Yeah, and Deadpool. You gotta love Deadpool, but Deadpool is more like the new age cool superhero where, you know, he's just cool. You know, he's more of a cool superhero. Where Spider-Man's to me, has that feeling when it comes to storyline and depth of character, where he just has this really neat concept of being a hero. You know, like he's a hero for the right reasons or something. Deadpool's just cool and fun and breaks the fourth wall and says inappropriate stuff, and you know, so he's just a fun new age hero. Let's see, how do you draw, or wait, line of action. What are you saying there? How do you draw limbs in really fast movements? Those that you can only see the shape with fast lines. Yeah, so the only way I'm trying to understand what you're saying there. The only thing I can figure you're saying is you would just draw the silhouette of it. So like if this was an arm punching, like this, maybe draw it like that, and then do the action lines over it. Is that what you're saying? Like there's a couple ways. You'll see people do it like this, and then some will do it all in the scene. I guess you could do them together, but some will do it all in the scene and they'll leave this part white as a negative. Is that what you're saying? I'm not really getting that question, I guess. And you guys are talking about like figure drawing, where you do it more as a gesture, and yeah, that's highly important. In fact, I got to get back on that. I've been trying to do that daily, and I've been slacking a little bit with everything I got going. But yeah, it's really important to do that. So essentially, like how I just did stick figures here, and then I'm drawing over, you know, whatever I can think to place for anatomy. Gestural drawing, you almost skip the stick figure. You kind of combine them, really. It's kind of the same thing, but you do it more with, like you're saying, the action line, and then also the flow of the body. So you think more about the flow, about the movement that way. Very important to do figure drawing. It'll make your comic drawings better. Definitely. I'll give him a little foot back here to kind of push that perspective. And I don't feel like drawing this hand, so I'll just put it behind his head. Nobody will know, except for the fact that I'm talking out loud. Now everybody knows. But come on, we're all guilty of that, right? That's what comic artists do. We cheat. Cheat and cheat often. It's kind of a weird fight scene, but oh well. Yeah, gesture is tricky when you want to put the anatomy on top of it, for sure. It's just important to study the body. Like, all right, for instance, what I have here is me just purely going out of my brain box, you know, and saying, oh, that's what I think it would look like, and maybe it'd look cool, maybe it wouldn't, but it's entirely inaccurate, you know, and that's okay. I mean, I'm doing comics. I'm not, you know, I'm not painting the Mona Lisa here, but it is inaccurate. I know that. I just made choices based on style. Now, as far as figure drawing goes, and the reason why you do it, it kind of reins that style in a bit. So you study that each and every day so that you can, actually let me merge these down, so that you can get your basis of reality back a little bit. So you've got, you know, just, so there's one out of imagination. There's another where I kind of made it go more into the realm of imagination. And then figure drawing and gesture drawing and all that is going to help you think about the way the body really does work in reality. Because, you know, those aren't realistic shots. So in all reality, it would probably look a lot more, not as impactful. It would just look different. It just would foreshorten differently. It would look, you know, more realistic. I mean, without studying pictures, I'm probably not going to be able to get that. But it would look a little bit more like, almost like the first shot did, where it'd be a little bit more like, I don't know, not so overly expressive, I guess. But figure drawing is so important because it's going to show you how the body really does move, and then you take that a step further and start to stylize it. And I think that happens naturally just when you don't look at reference. At least it does for me. I basically, whenever I'm not looking at reference, something will come out a lot more like this last one, like that. If I was to look at reference, it's probably going to look a little bit more like this. And you know, the bodies aren't, you know, generally, like if you trace out a body, it doesn't look as dynamic. It looks kind of plain Jane until you start to fill in the shading and the rest of it. Portions and the overlaps look different. You know, somebody getting hit's probably going to fall back more like this or something. But again, this is where I would you know, pull from reference, so look at it and study it. And yeah, as far as let me do it like that. As far as doing a gesture drawing, you're probably going to want to do it where, like somebody was commenting about line of action. So yeah, you would start and you would actually get the flow of the body first. So it'd be like that line that goes through. I kind of think of it as the spine, and then you would get like maybe the sweeping line of the collarbones, and then maybe the sweeping line of the hips, like that, and then you know, figure out where the rib cage is, and you want to do it all with just very quick lines, expressive lines. And I can't remember is it LSI? You guys might be able to help me on this. I think it's LSI, but there's a certain amount of lines that you'll use. There's the S curve, or wait, it's CSI, isn't it? So there's a C curve, you know, so you use that for like the side of the body. And there's an S curve and an L. I don't know. You guys have to research that. You know who's got good videos on that is Proco's channel. Yeah, is that CSI or CSL? You know, and I don't do enough of this. Like I said, I need to do more. But what ends up happening is you start to really realize like where the limbs which way they'll go and which way they just won't. You know, because if you're always drawing from your mind, you're just going to kind of place them wherever and try to make it work with your rendering. But figure drawing will make you start to realize how the body contorts and how these curves go. And, you know, as far as a gesture, you'll do it more like this. So everything's just kind of flowing, you know, one into the other. Okay, it is CSI. Okay. So yeah, to me, like that's more like a gesture. Like I would just do a bunch of those, and my proportions are out of whack today too. But it's more like the expression of the body. It's not, you know, so much in like accuracy and proportions. I mean, you want to get proportions right, but it's more the flowingness of the body. Hey, what's up, After Mac? Good to have you back. Okay, so let me see if I can rough out one more quick one, and then we'll call it good, because we're already at 49 minutes. Funny how these things just fly right by. Oh, and let me take this time to say, too, I'm going to leave coupon codes in the description box for both my Udemy classes or course and my Gumroad. So if you guys are into that, cool. It's one of the ways that helps me keep producing content. So just got to shout that out there. trying to read up on these comments. Upper kick from ant view. Upper kick from ant view. I don't know how you do an uppercut kick from an ant view. Let me see what. All right, so if you're the ant, you're looking up. So the kick is going up and away from the camera. Is that what you're saying? Heel kick from above. Okay, see, I think that's different. You guys are saying different things here. Uppercut kick from an ant view, heel kick from above. So if you're looking down and somebody's doing a heel kick from above, the foot's going to be closer to camera, right? So I'm imagining, I'll just do a really rough version of what I think you're saying here. So the leg would be coming towards camera. It'd be kicking upright. Are you trying to say something like that? Like where they're kicking straight up? I mean, I can't picture they're kicking downward towards an ant. So let's say, yeah, this is. You guys like throw these really weird, hard requests at me. Think it's funny? Is that what it is? You laughing at me? Think it's funny? Yeah, I don't know how I'd do that. Maybe like this. That looks really weird. All I could say about a pose like this is that generally, like I did right there, but if I had to try to draw it a bit better, I would start with the part that's closest towards camera, especially if it's a weird kind of thing that I haven't drawn before, like that pose. I would draw the foot first towards camera. This is a weird looking foot. And then I'd work back from there. Just because, like I said, it's something I haven't gotten my mind's eye really well because I haven't drawn it a lot. So I would just basically try to work back. And then also, I would try to think about perspective on that limb as well. So I'd come back and I'd start with the big connection point here. I would picture the calf rounding around like this. The knee there maybe. And I would just try to work back and try to figure it out. And I'll be honest, it's going to look clumsy at first because I just don't draw this particular shot very often. I don't think I've ever drawn this shot now that I'm thinking about it, but let's try to fight through it for you guys here. I'll just keep moving the lines around until something looks right. And the trickiest part is going to be how it connects and where the other leg goes, I think. So let me scale this down a bit further so I got more room. Yeah, so I can either have it where maybe the other leg's coming down towards camera or viewer or whatever, and then I got to figure out where this other leg goes. Is it tucked back? Is it just coming downward this way? And then place the foot back here. And probably have a twist to the torso. Let's see if they're kicking with that leg. Would it be a counter pose? Yeah, it's a tricky angle for sure. You guys always seem to do this to me. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stream on Wednesday nights, but like I was just saying earlier in the stream, I can't until I get through this project I'm on. I can't really commit, unfortunately. I'm hoping to get back on it. Yeah, so I think this would actually be the reverse. Let me switch this. I think that it would be contrapasta, whatever, contraposta. So you'd have the one arm this way, the torso twisting here. Just remember here, if you're ever trying to make it look like you're looking up at the torso, raise the pecs. That's kind of a quick way to establish that. So raise all that information up, and the pecs will appear to be really shallow, short from this angle. Let's go and get this goofy guy out of the way. And then, you know, also you can tuck the head back behind the chest, because from this angle it's probably going to get hidden. We'll go ahead and make it Deadpool because it looks like something type of kick Deadpool would do. And then this arm up. That's too far up, but let's bring it out this way. And forearm. Lately I've been doing this thing with 3 rings for a forearm. And I've talked about that little cyclone method where you kind of go like this to make objects that are coming out towards camera. Cyclone, turbine, I don't know what you want to call it. Anyways, but you can also just do it with 3 rings. So like the forearm can be like the middle of the forearm, the wrist. So the part where it connects the upper arm, the middle of the forearm, and the wrist, and then connect them like that. I think it's a really quick way to kind of place the forearm. So that's what you see me doing here anyways. Just thought I would explain that for some reason. And this arm will have it way back here. A lot of times with foreshortening anyways, the best thing to do is hide parts of the body with the thing that's coming out towards camera the most. This leg's still looking pretty funky. Try to put impact points to help your perspective. May help, like a head being hit on the top of the foot. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I can almost see here what would look cool as like a real caricature kind of face, and the face could be really large. Well, I think a foot is around the same size as a head. Most heads, anyways. Depends on whose foot and whose head, I guess. But you could do like a really caricatured kind of, you know, tooth flying out kind of thing. It would be kind of funny. And I have this tooth kind of, I can't remember what a tooth looks like. Something like that. Have that flying out. And you could have the one eye squinted that's on the side that's getting kicked, and the other one open just a little bit, looking over, like trying to take in the information, you know, like, did he just kick me in the face? That's not cool. Or whatever, you know. And then the one squinted side of the expression, the one side open. But yeah, adds another, you could have the messed up hair, you know, if he's got a hat, the hat's flying off. So those little things that kind of add to the dynamic of the shot to make it a little bit more interesting, you know. You know, you can have his shoulder here so it looks like his head's really getting tilted back, and, you know, all that fun stuff. And let's see, I've had a hard time drawing a character's legs jumping through the air, not a whole lot of reference to look at. Yeah, it's really tricky. You know, one of the things that's probably the best for that, I know somebody's mentioning 3D posing and models right now, which is fine. I haven't tried as much of that. I probably need to, but oh, thanks, Bianca. I appreciate that. Says the face looks awesome. Yeah, just those few little lines, and you start to get the idea. I mean, yeah, keep going from there, obviously, make it look better. But yeah, so like, if you have to do those flying shots, though, one of the things I do is I'll set up a couple chairs, and I'll like lean up against the chair and make my girlfriend take pictures, or I'll set up the tripod, take photos. So you just do that. You do the suspended animation thing where you know, and all this stuff is quirky and silly, you know, but it helps out a lot, and it's really the only way you're going to get shots like that. I mean, when are you going to Google search and find this exact leg pose? You know, that's where you have to start faking it and draw it from your mind a little bit. But at the same time, if you don't ever draw it from reality at least a couple times, you're going to have a hard time really making it look accurate and cool. Even with style, it's got to have some basis of realism in there, you know, even if it's a small amount. But I don't know. I guess that's just me. I mean, we're all different. Maybe you can draw a lot better stylized representation and make it work. And if you've got a very cartoon style, then I guess it doesn't matter as much. But the more your style looks like a little bit of a mix hybrid between realism and comic style, the more I think you need to at least know what it looks like from that particular angle, which is where taking photos is so essential to that. Or, you know, just really knowing like having this huge library of reference and being able to call on it at a drop of a dime, you know, and a certain, you'd have to name all these different types of leg poses and angles, and yeah, it's just, maybe that's where 3D really is beneficial in that regard, because you could just simply grab the model and pose them and draw from that. So maybe I should try that out, because so many people have been commenting on the channel here and mentioning that, and I feel bad because I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. I just haven't. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's probably a great thing. I just haven't got around to really doing it and then making it work in my my workflow. Just guess I'm just a little bit old school with my mirror and my camera. Yeah, gymnastics is another great one. So you guys are commenting back and forth saying gymnastics, dancing, all that stuff is fantastic. Like I said, it's a mix between all that and then just being able to reference just the right shot at the right time. And I think I threw that out of whack with that shoulder there. Oh. And I think if he was really getting kicked in the face, what is up with this eraser? Yeah, one thing I do not like, for some reason I got to click that eraser twice. So, but yeah, I think the mouth would really be open further. Like that. Bring the jaw down a bit further. Okay. Well, anyways, that's probably enough of my bad scribbles for the day. Probably should have picked a different did a live stream when I was drawing a little bit better. But yeah, so that's another little quick fight scene kind of thing. Any last questions you guys might have before I bring it to a close? And you guys are commenting about the 3D posing. Let's see, I once saw a little tutorial of a guy using references and then he used a weird soccer photo to draw a zombie attack. Yeah, I mean, it's any of that. You know, like some of the best artists that I know that taught me to use reference more, because at first I was like all against it or something. I just didn't do it as much. And they were showing me how, you know, to meet deadlines and to do more professional work, that's just kind of the way it is. And I'm not saying for everybody. I'm just saying for a few of the pros that I've met that have taught me tips and tricks and things. And they're like, you know, hey, this is how you do it, and you move faster, and you overall get a better quality of work. And the one thing that they, one artist in particular that told me that was really stuck, is they said, you got to get used to pulling just a certain component of the photo, or even someone else's art that inspires you. You don't want to copy or plagiarize their work, but you can look at something and pull a specific inspiration or a specific, maybe just the lighting, for instance, or in another one, maybe just that right pose, or maybe just even that right arm pose. And the better you get as an artist at seeing that stuff and then collectively putting it together and then, you know, making your own piece, you'll start to figure things out a lot more, and you'll start to come up with overall better portfolio pieces, things that are more refined, because you're able to kind of compile all those things together. You're never going to find one particular shot that's perfect, and then if you just recreate that, that's all you're doing is recreating it. You have to learn to grab components of different things, whether it be life around you, images, other artists' work that inspires you, all those things together, and then make your own thing, and you know, ultimately put your own style on it, spin, and yeah, you'll start to come up with a really professional look. Yeah, so the next live stream, I don't know, I don't really got it in place yet. Maybe some more comic scene stuff, maybe some digital painting. We haven't done any painting in a while. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But you guys are welcome to comment in the section below and let me know what you think. Remember that you can follow my work on Gumroad, and there'll be links in the description box below for different things to support the work that I do here. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to share the videos so I can grow the channel and keep doing what I do. And as always, I appreciate having you here and you being part of the live stream. Keep drawing, keep having fun, and I will talk to you soon.